Well, good morning everyone and welcome back. So yesterday I had the opportunity to drive to South Georgia, and that's always a fun drive for me. It's a drive that's full of corn and pecans and cotton and peanuts and all kinds of interesting old buildings. And I met a subscriber at, where else would you meet anybody in South Georgia, at a Waffle House, and he gifted me this tool right here. Now I say gifted, but I actually did buy him lunch at the Waffle House. But let's get this thing out of the back of the truck and check it out. So this is a homemade log arch, and a log arch is just a piece of equipment that you can use to pull logs out of the woods. And I'm very interested to use this because I don't normally particularly like taking the tractor in the woods, because there's always a chance there's going to be some kind of a stop or something that's going to bust a tire, and it would be nice to be able to do that without the threat of busting one of the tractor tires. If I stick a Jeep tire, not as big of a deal really. But this is kind of how it works. So this right here is what the log hooks to. You put a chain right here, choke it around the log, and then as you drive away, this right here rolls backward. There's a little wheel in the middle right there. It rolls back, and as it rolls back, well, we're gonna make it roll before it's over with. As this rolls back, the log gets picked up off of the ground and off you go. So the first thing that I want to do is get it cleaned up really good, get a fresh coat of paint on it maybe, and make it look kind of decent. Well, at this point it's the next day. I got distracted on other projects yesterday, but now it's time to get this thing looking a little bit nicer. I don't really want to make this a showpiece, but I do want to get it in reasonably good shape, which includes getting all the sand and stuff out of the little places like this. So again, my goal here is not really to make it look like a showpiece. What I just want to do is just kind of give it a decent little facelift before I start using it. So we're just going to put some rusty metal primer on it after I scratched it up with the wire brush, and then we'll paint it. chipped my new paint job already. I think I mentioned earlier in the video how this thing works. So basically you take a choker, or I'm going to try to use these tongs right here, and you back over the log and then you hook the log to this, and as you drive away this rolls upwards, which raises the log up off of the ground, and it makes it to where you can drag the log a whole lot easier. Unfortunately, I don't think I have enough clearance here for my tongs to make it up off of the ground, so I may have to use a chain for that anyway. Now obviously this was not designed to haul monster logs out of the woods, anything probably 12 inches maybe to 15 inches, something like that. I think this would be very well suited for, and it's pretty well put together. It's a homemade design and it's pretty solid. I do have a worry about flex in it because there's not a whole lot of bracing right here. And I worry that when you try to pull away from the log, if this is going to flex any right here and potentially make cracks. We can brace it with something if necessary, but I think for now, let's just go test it out and I'll see if there's any flex to it. Alright, so I think I've decided to try to make these log tongs work because I'm thinking about how fiddly a chain is going to be and how much quicker log tongs are going to be to hook up a log, and I think it's going to be worth the effort. So let's remove some stuff and see if we can get it to work. Bolt's a little bit small, but it's been working for the previous owner, so we're going to use it. Put the tongs in the place of that hook right here and see if it works. All right. Okay. I believe that'll do it. I can barely see the log arch because of this back seat here, so let's take a minute to take this seat out, and that'll probably make it easier. Through the magic of editing, I'll make it look like I got that on the very first try. So I think this log might be too large for this. It's a pretty big log, but we'll give it a shot. I hate to tear this up on the first try. I guess I need to make sure these catch. Well, I'll have to say I'm pretty impressed at what just happened. It did exactly what it was designed to do. It caught there, and as it pulled forward, that rolled up right there, and the log came off the ground and it started dragging it, and it was not a whole lot of effort on the Jeep's part. And I looked at the footage and I didn't notice any flex in this. Once I get it on the computer, I might be able to see it a little bit better, but yeah, I mean, I think it's probably safer to use it for smaller logs, but man, it handled this one like a champ, and this is probably a 14-inch log and probably 12 feet long. Yeah, pretty impressed with it. The reason I think this is going to be useful is because on the tractor, number one, the tires, you can't really see what's in the brush, and those tires are very expensive, and if I bust a Jeep tire, it's going to be a lot cheaper to repair. But also, when you have a log on the grapple, that log is quite long, and you're trying to kind of find a path through the trees, and it's difficult to do. So I think it's going to be a lot easier to be able to drag a log straight out of the pine. So let's go out to the pines. There's a tree down out there. Let's cut it up and see how it performs. Probably could have backed up a little more for this, but let's give it a try. That should be okay. Something nice about this log arch is it's pretty light and easy to handle. So if I'm in a weird angle like this, I should just be able to take it loose, put it over the log, and then just hook the Jeep back up to the log arch. In this open area, it would have been a lot easier just to use the tractor with the grapple, but hey, we're trying out a new toy today. Nope. Well, I was hoping I would be able to back up and these tongs unlatch, and maybe it'll be a little bit easier to unhook these, but unfortunately it's not going to work that way, which is fine because every time I unhook I'll have to come back here and hook these tongs on the back so they're not dragging all over the place anyway, so no big deal there. Well, as y'all can see behind me, I've got my work cut out for me. I had a friend over the last 2 or 3 days. He brought me some logs that he had removed from his property, and I went over there and made a couple of loads on my trailer as well. So I've got, oh geez. I don't know if that was a red wasp or what, but it sure sounded like one, and I don't think it got me, thankfully. I have seen more red wasps this year than any other year that I can remember. I don't know why. There just seem to be so many of them out here this year, and they are just all over the place. But anyhow, like I was saying, I've got quite a stash of logs back here and should be sawing those up as orders come in for some lumber, and hopefully I'll be able to film some of that. But anyhow, the 2 logs that we just got were from trees that I cut down last week so that I could fulfill another order for a friend. And yeah, I decided to bring these on up here, and it seemed like pretty good logs to test out the new toy here. And overall, I am quite pleased with this thing. It's going to make it a lot easier to get in between trees and get logs out. I'm not going to be worried about busting one of those big tractor tires or even the front tractor tires on the front. Jeep tires are a whole lot cheaper to repair if something like that happens. But yeah, I'm super happy with it. And Mr. Al, I'm sure you'll show up in the comments at some point on this video. Thank you, I appreciate it. And this was definitely worth lunch at Waffle House to get a log arch like this. I appreciate it. And guys, I will see y'all on the next one. Appreciate y'all watching.